You're listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, my personal journey of root work, faith, and ancestral wisdom. This is where I honor the ones that came before me, share what's been passed down, and walk you through my experiences of being unapologetically aligned, covered by spirit, guided by blood. Today, I have a special guest.
Ooh.
My special guest is clearly excited and he cannot contain himself.
I can't. Hurry up and say it. Hurry up.
My special guest is a New York comedian whose stand-up special Element, an appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, showcases fearless takes on culture, race, and mental health. Real life shit.
Woo.
With punchlines that hit like a gospel in a comedy club because he is talking about some real shit now. He's one of my faves, and I think he's one of the most compelling voices in stand-up today. Ladies and gentlemen, Nore Davis. Hi, Nore.
Hey. Hi, Chelsea. How are you? Why you smiling and laughing? Got her blushing and laughing.
Yes, you talking to me like you not my man.
Oh, yeah. I am that too. That is a title in there. I gotta put that in my bio. Who is my bio writer? How dare they leave you out? As the doula, Chelsea Bonchaz Perfume, for all those who know. Yes. I am her man. She is my lady. Okay, I'm done.
Down to back to business.
Yep.
Reel them hoes in like
Let's
we're
do
going
it.
fishing.
That's it.
How are you feeling, first of all?
Feeling good. Thank you for asking. How am I feeling? Feeling good. Yeah. Excited to talk to you and just excited to be on your podcast. Excited to be your first guest, second guest. I don't know which number guest I am, but I know I'm number one in your heart, baby. Ooh, I'm always spitting. Nah, all right, I'm done. Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, that's what matters. No, I'm glad you're feeling good because this is a topic that I think, it could be serious, but I think it also deserves a little bit of laughter because I do want to talk to you about this. And this is something that we have discussed privately, which I think is really cool. The fact that we have discussed, grief and ancestral veneration and navigating grief through ancestral veneration and speaking about like spirits and afterlife, the death, all the things. We talk about all the things.
All the great things, which you helped me so much to process and get through. I mean, as we're speaking, I have my mantle right here on the bottom of my desk. Well, next to my desk.
Your altar. And yep.
My altar is mantle or altar. What's the word?
It's fine. You could say altar.
Okay.
It's like
my
you
altar,
can have your ancestral altar.
Mantle. Yes, it's like the movie Coco. Yes, I have my altar. And I'm about to say Ultra. Ultra, that's a makeup store, right? That's not the right thing to say. My bad. So, yes, my altar with my mother's urn and my aunt's urn, and I have incense, and I have a little candle, and I have 2 glasses of water for them both. And it's like halfway down. I mean, I know it's like it evaporates, but it's just so cool to think like they taking a sip, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The ladies that I love are taking a sip. That the ladies that raised me, my mother and my aunt Nadine, and their sisters, and they were 6 years apart, but the bestest friends. They both raised me, and I miss them every day. But it's so good that I have a great mantle to honor them. And as you know, when we first met, my aunt was still alive because she recently passed in December 23rd. 2024, and my mother passed June 13th, 2022. So when we met, it was like last year. My mother's urn was in the storage unit. And
See, I wasn't even gonna go into that, but since you spilling your own tea, I'm gonna let you.
it's all good. No, because it's really I really love that process, and that's what I love you about, and one of the great things I love about you of like helping me
Okay,
through
so
that process. Okay, my bad. All right.
let's.
Too
No, it's
fast.
okay. Well, no, you just gave me an idea. Okay, so but yes, back up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and share this story because
Okay.
yeah, a huge component.
Pull up on the bumper, baby. Remember we saw Grace Jones? That was dope.
Yes, that was fun. She's amazing, right? She's amazing.
We'll do 2 and 3.
So yes, a huge component to the podcast is storytelling. So I do want to take the time to tell this story, or we both can share. Since child you and tapped into it. So
Yeah.
yes, so yeah, we started dating, and your mom, obviously has been resting for over 2 years now.
3 years.
3 years
3
now.
years. Yep.
Yeah.
3 years. Yep.
So yeah, we started dating, and you were already talking about your mom. You were talking about your mama a lot with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember. So y'all, like, Nori would always talk about how it seemed like on a weekly basis he would be going to this storage unit,
Mm-hmm.
and he talked about how he was still grieving and navigating, picking up the pieces, that his mom, you know, uh, left off, unfortunately, because her death wasn't necessarily planned per se, in a way of
Yeah.
preparations for her funeral, preparations for
Yep.
insurance, and the will, and she didn't give you a plan for what to do,
Nope.
so you had to figure this out. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the story goes, yeah, we're dating. Nori's making weekly stops at this storage unit. I'm not thinking
Mm-hmm.
nothing of it, and we were on FaceTime,
Yeah.
and you were talking about something that you remembered that you had to do, because it was something that either something your mom didn't do, or it was something you brought up your mother,
Yeah.
and then you said something about her urn.
Mm-hmm.
You, s- yeah, you said something
Yeah.
about the urn, and then I was like, "Where is she?
Yeah. You
Where's
asked me where
where
she's at. And I was
where
like,
is she? Where's
oh.
the urn?" And that
All right.
I said, "Where is she?" And baby, when I said you could hear a pin drop, you were like,
Mm-hmm. No breath.
"And you and go ahead." And what you said? Tell her what you said.
She right
Tell her.
here. She right here. She right here on top of my sneakers. And because I have a storage unit with my shelf, and my mama sat on top of my Jordan Retro 12s. Yep, her urn, the gold urn. Yep.
Y'all, the hoodoo baby in me was screaming, okay? I was like, "You got your mama urn in the storage unit, nigga?"
Yup. You didn't say the
Ooh,
nigga
baby.
part. You didn't say the nigga part. You
I
was nice.
didn't, but let me tell you,
You was.
yeah, I was super kind, real politically correct. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I felt this urge low key to judge you, but
Mm-hmm.
also I felt stronger. The feeling that was a bit stronger was, just to have be compassionate and to have some type of understanding. So that's why I started questioning you. If I'm not sure if you remember the questions I started
Yes, and
asking
I
you.
mean, with your voice is so nice and soft, and you're just so adorable. You're so cute. I love you so much. So your questions don't come out as interrogation. You're just like it's very curiosity. Like you're curious, and I did not know behind your ears. You're like, oh my God, that is not good. I gotta help this brother. Like that's crazy. He got his mama in storage hell. he got his mama in hell. And I didn't know that. That was such a, I guess, a red flag, we could say. We could say it's something of like a red flag in the hoodoo world of afterlife, of like, yeah, funeral, then having to earn somewhere stored away on some punishment shit. And that's what it felt like to me. Like my mom was on punishment. Like in the child
Yeah.
had some justice. But go ahead, yo.
Yeah, because so
Mm-hmm.
my and that's why I was questioning you, because I was trying to gain some type of just to have some type of understanding of what was going on when she died, because
Mm-hmm.
clearly whatever happened before she passed, you're still in that. You're still mad.
Yeah.
Essentially that's what I gathered, because I started asking him. I was like, "Okay, she's in your storage unit. Are you not?" I was kind of coming from more so like figuring out, like, your level of comfortability. I was like, are you not comfortable with her ashes being in your place? And you were like, no, I don't think that's not quite it. No. I was like, are you, freaked out or spooked out by like Ern being, in the same room with it? Because I don't know. Everybody has different levels of
Yeah.
what they're comfortable with. And you were like, nah. And I was like,
No, it'd be weird
I,
to
I
have
was
it
like,
here.
are you mad at her? And you were like, yeah, I am.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh girl. So much justice. I wanted justice. Lil
Yeah.
Nori and me wanted justice. So angry at
Yeah.
her. Cause okay, so even a little bit more backstory. Yeah, she passed away ovarian stage 4 cancer, and even during the whole time, not really communicating to me that it's happening, and it came back. But I get
Mm.
it because she is just so scared to even admit that or even talk about it. So then I remember that was in May. I was at the Netflix Comedy Festival, and I got a call from my best friend, like we're bringing her to the hospital, like her legs are swollen, she can't walk, because she will always call me and leave these voicemails complaining like, I can't eat and I'm in pain. And I'm like, well, take the pain pills and this. But I did not know she's dying. I did not know this is the cancer coming back, because she beat it the first time a year and a half ago, and then it came back. But I did not know that. I didn't know any of that. And so that May, I think it was like May 10th or something, whenever the Netflix comedy special was, her best friend told me, and then I didn't even know. So then I had to perform and open up for CMJ, and I'm thinking like my mom was dying, and that next day I flew out and from LA, and went right straight to the White Plains Hospital. And once I saw her, I just started breaking down crying, because like she was just skin and bones, and lymph nodes took her legs, so they was all thick and everything. And then she up there like, I'm all right, on the phone talking, and she's clearly not all right. And then from there, it was just a downhill spiral torture roller coaster for me. I can't even imagine what she's going through, but what I'm
Mhm.
going through is just this pain of non-communication, asking for Jesus, asking for a fucking miracle. Like you're just not blatantly talking about the obvious of like, hey, I love you, and what can we do? Not even what can we do, like let's talk about this, like, what,
Yeah.
mama, what do you want? And then like then telling everybody everything's fine, I'm gonna be good and good, then look into my eyes like, I wanna go home, I wanna go home. And I'm like, I can't bring you home and I can't fix it. It was just one of those things I just could not fix.
Mhm.
Yep. I hated it, and I was, and it was just the torture. It was the torture because she still wanted to fight it. And so I just
Mhm.
watched the esophagus, all
Mhm.
the things I kind of disagree with, and fighting to go to hospice. And we had to lie to her to say that it's a rehab because she wasn't going to leave the hospital. It was just all like, of course, like death is not supposed to be nice and easy. And, it was just something I just never experienced before. And it just came out of nowhere. And it got to a point I just wanted it to be over. Like, it's just torturing yourself. Stop torturing yourself, please. Yeah, the hospice, like she was only in the hospice for at least it had to be like 2.5 weeks. It wasn't even that.
Mm.
It wasn't even that
Mm.
long. 2.5 weeks, even less, and gone. And so if that would happen May, she passed away in June, right? So May to June, yeah. So that's like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Yep.
Were
And
you were you mad at her for just how she handled her own death and how she handled, you know, her terminal illness? Or were you upset with her for old shit? Or was it both? Was it
both.
all
I think it's
a little
both.
bit
I
of
think it
a
was
little
it
bit of
was
everything?
yeah, it was a little bit everything. Cause if I can think now, since all the therapy I've been through, just seeing how
Mhm.
adult Nori was handling it and suppressing little Nori, but then little Nori just bringing back that anger and everything of like, not feeling seen, not feeling heard. And, with, with,
Mhm.
with my mom, I never felt like a man because she always
Mhm.
wanted to do everything. She did everything for me and not complaining, but in the way of like, thinking I can't do it. And so my motive was always to like prove to her like I'm a whole grown man. Like I'm just not your little Nori anymore. I'm not your little
Mhm.
Norvell. I'm a fucking grown man. And that's always been my anger and drive of like not trusting
Yeah.
me to be the adult that I am. So even with her death, it was just and then so that yeah, no. Oh yeah, and then there was the fight. She didn't want to give her number up. She didn't want to give any
Uh.
she didn't want to do the will. Like her best friend got her to sign the will, which took a while, but
Mhm.
she didn't want to give any of her passwords up and all that because she was so stuck on, not stuck, but like, no, no, why would I have to do that? Because then she would have to face the reality like, this is it, Michael Jackson, this is it. So
Yeah.
yes, but it was both. It was, ooh, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Honey, when we were having this conversation, when I discovered that you had the urn in the storage unit. I took it, I don't know if you remember, but I did take it as a moment or a chance to like express my position
Yeah.
when it comes to my spirituality and
Yeah.
religion. Like we've had
Hmm.
that's when we talked about religion and spirituality and hoodoo tradition, and even I educated you about African tradition religions as far as just certain beliefs and
Hmm.
practices. And I thought, like, okay, this is the best time to have this conversation because I don't think we had that conversation
Yeah.
yet. And I just felt like that was necessary because I did, I'm admitting, I did feel like a hint of judgment, but I just, pushed that away because I again wanted to understand where you was coming from because I have not lost a parent yet, and I had not experienced that yet as far as like planning someone's homegoing, making arrangements for what to do with a
Yeah.
body, and
Hmm.
and having to make those difficult decisions. You know,
Out the
um,
gate so fast. Yeah.
yeah, and then and I was gonna say I think that was also a bit. I'm sure that was difficult and maybe even a bit traumatizing because you had to make these decisions so quickly, and
Yeah, straight
they
traumatized, not
just
even a bit. Yes, yep.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and then still having to navigate your own life.
Mhm.
So yeah, when I was asking you questions and trying to gather your anger because you did admit it. You were like, no, I'm mad at her.
Mhm. Yep.
You were like, yeah, I'm upset. And then I asked you, I was like, do you feel better keeping her in the storage unit, or is it more so you're not sure of where to put her, you're not sure what to do with her? And
What'd I say?
you said a little bit of all of that.
Oh,
You
I thought
said
I
it
was
was
like, yup, yup,
well,
yup.
yeah, you said
Time out.
yes.
You
You
stand
s-
right here. Mhm.
Yeah, you said yes, but it was more so like you were saying yes, like yeah, she's here right now until I know what to do with her.
Yeah, and I was
And
mad at everybody because they just left me.
mm,
I thought my brother was gonna take it. I thought my aunt, her sister was gonna take it.
okay.
Nope, nobody wanted to take it, and not even one or volunteers. So It was all on
Mm,
me, and I'm the firstborn. So it was my brother. We're 5 years apart. So I'm her firstborn. I'm her
mm,
Nori's. It was all on me, and
mm,
it was just so lonely. It was just so hard. And
mm,
even when our aunt passed, I was like, "Nah, bro, you got that." And then, but me having to get the estate, and there was just like no time to grieve. There's no time. It's just
mm,
like you come into this world with paperwork, with a birth certificate, then you gotta go get another fucking death certificate. You gotta get more paperwork, so you gotta go get a degree for the
mm,
estate, and you have no time to grieve or anything. Or and I think the other difficult thing you helped me realize is like, not that you helped me realize, I'll just say difficult, was the silence of just, and still not really comfortable with it now. It's, I know she's at peace, and I'm happy I have the mantle, and that helps. And you helped me seeing a grieving coach, which is
mm.
amazing. Thank you. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but the silence. So like, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say like that silence part. I think is really hard for folks to grasp, and maybe a huge part of it may be that huge component that folks don't want to talk about. When we're talking about death.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just took it as an opportunity to share more about myself, but also to learn more about you and where you were
Yeah.
at, and because I did at first I did feel like it was odd. It was not necessarily a red flag to me. It was definitely, yellow,
Mm.
maybe even a little burnt orange.
I
Maybe
remember that.
mm,
Yeah.
a
And
little
it was like a
burnt
three-way call too,
orange.
remember? I don't know if I can mention that, but it was like a little three-way call. Y'all were both helping me with that. Like y'all were both felt like y'all was walking on like glass shreds with me. Like
Yeah, and
okay,
I
let's
and I
be
didn't.
delicate with this brother. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have not experienced losing a parent. So we had to,
Mm.
check ourselves, to that degree, and also, give you compassion because you were clearly still grieving, and I don't believe in putting a
Still
time
am.
a time clock. Thank you. Like and that's real, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you should put a time frame or some type of like stopwatch when it comes to grieving.
Yeah.
And also, I it was just, I with having that conversation, because I understood that it was a hard conversation to have,
Yeah.
and
It feels worse with more
you sharing
time.
that. Mhm.
It
Mhm.
feels worse with more time, and I really do enjoy that you teach me about the hoodoo beliefs and African spiritual beliefs, which felt
Mhm.
much more of sense. It felt more
Mhm.
comforting than traditional Christianity of like pray for them and heaven and hell and all
Yeah.
that. It just
Oh,
didn't
so let
feel
me
realistic.
yeah, I was gonna say let me give our listeners, I guess, just like a smidge of what I did share. So I
Mm-hmm.
shared, I explained to you what ancestor veneration was. I
Mm-hmm.
explained to you how it's super important to hold our loved ones when they pass, to hold them in light, when we do pray for them and pray about them, to really to pray for their transition, and to say their name, to say their full name,
Mm.
to express memories, good and bad,
Mm-hmm.
and to try do our best to remember the essence of them, and have certain practices to honor them. So, like
Yeah.
for example, I do remember telling you how I didn't think it was cool for you to have her urn in darkness, and how
Oh yeah.
that punishment to you, it was a punishment towards her, but I do remember telling you, like, you are really punishing yourself because
Yes.
she has passed on. She's forgiven you for everything. She's forgiven herself
Yeah.
more likely. And you having her earn in darkness is really keeping you in the darkness as
Yeah.
far as your relationship and your love for her. And
Mhm.
you're not able to really to fully grieve and to move past that from that standpoint, because you can grieve until the day you die. It's not even about like the grieving part, but it was more so about your actions really showing up in that way and essentially like manifesting into something to where you couldn't even get past like talking about her, how you felt embarrassed to even say out loud, yeah, I have my mom's urn in my storage unit
Yeah.
on top of my Jordans.
Yes.
So I do remember saying that, like how that was super important. And, I talked about how it's super important forgive her, not just for her, but forgiveness is for you to
Mhm.
move on, to get past that, and to carry out certain practices and acts as a means to honor and to venerate, which is why we have altars. It's
Yeah.
also why we have is why we say their name in prayers, and we, even the way that how we write their names and have their names placed in certain places, while we give them water at the altars, while we have light the candles at the altars,
Mhm.
to just carry out a certain, an act to say, I see you, I feel you, you are here, because they're always here. You just
Yeah.
not haven't been there. Your mama has always been in that house. Her urn can be wherever it is, but she gonna be where she want to be spiritually, because she
Yeah.
can do that now. That's the power that she have. But you having the last of her, the
S
final last state of her and her body, her ashes, you having them near you, and you honoring that and having that in light is such a huge step towards y'all having this new relationship now in her
so
afterlife and you in this life.
when I had to earn in the darkness, was she in the darkness or was it just more of me in the darkness?
I think it was more so you being in the darkness. Therefore, it's like setting a boundary with her spirit,
Mm. Mm.
because you have this symbol of her, the last of her. The urn is
Yeah.
like, it's symbolic. It's physically her ashes, yes, but in a bigger sense, it's symbolic to just all the things, y'all relationship, everything, all the bullshit y'all been through, all the hurt and the pain. Like the urn symbolizes all of that, right? So you
Yeah.
had that in the dark and the just away from you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like from a spiritual level, it's you are saying to her, I'm setting this boundary. This is the
Mm.
boundary. I don't want to deal with you right now. I'm not there yet. So
Yeah.
spiritually, she can't do nothing but to necessarily like honor that in a sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it does nothing to really like venerate her spirit or help her transition more into being with you, as far as when it comes to your relationship, when it
Yeah.
comes to helping you. The other sense of like something else that we believe is like, the ancestors don't necessarily like work for us. However, they will work with us. They will
Okay.
be with us. They got
Mhm.
they got shit to do. We don't think they
Yeah.
got shit to do, but I'm sure they got shit to do, and they can
Yeah.
do their shit in so many different ways. So
Yeah.
it's like they can help us. They may not be able to like intervene in a sense of like, um how movies might make it. So like, it's about
Mhm.
ghosts and spirits, them like, knocking things over and shit like that. But they
Yeah.
do I do believe like they
Or in a
do
Ouija
perform
board or some shit.
whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
All
It's
that
it's
bullshit.
like,
Yep.
yeah, but however, it's like they can still communicate, like how she communicated to you in your dream. They can still work miracles with you, through you. and
Yeah.
also speak to you and through you in other ways and manifestation. I do believe like they can take forms of other people, animals, plants, and even like possession in certain religions and certain
Mm.
practices. um but but yeah, it was just important for me to just share those beliefs so you understand like why it's important to still honor your loved one and your person and still love them past the funeral. Yes, funerals are
Yes.
important. Yes, you know what I'm saying, getting together to
Yeah.
to pay your respects, laying them to rest. All of that, yes, is important. However, that veneration, that's about like the relationship, continuing that
Yes.
relationship now,
And
moving
I ain't
forward.
never heard that ever before. I mean, I was never taught that. And how could I? My family came from very traditional, conservative Christian background, right? And it's everything
Mhm.
from the Bible and scriptures, but none of that really moved me or translated to me of feeling definitely in the moment to where hearing you say to have a relationship with my mother in the afterlife, of like her spirit and for me to like get myself out of the darkness to accept the
Mhm.
signs and to accept the dream that happened and to accept the things that are
Yeah.
happening now in my life and career, which are so great and so healing. And I wouldn't have found you. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of happy, happy things that happen ever since she passed. And I so feel like she's working tenfold for me. And
Mhm.
and I don't even like the word working. Like she just there. Like she was
Mhm.
always doing that. She was always doing that. I never got to heard it if she was proud of me, and I get to hear she's proud of me from other people that she talks to me about, but I never got to hear from her. So that was the other thing I'm very angry about. That
Mm.
it's the metaphor of like we praise LeBron, we praise him like he killed that game, and then when we see him, we don't say shit to him. It's that.
Mhm.
It's like, and LeBron like, wait, I thought y'all just did all my highlights. Why ain't nobody talking to me? Like, oh man, you got to shoot. You got a game. You got a game in Cleveland. Shit, all the way in Cleveland. You going all the way out there, man. Good luck with that team. Good luck with that team. And then you out and then you ball it, then they talking behind your back like, yo, he killing, he doing this thing. Oh, I'm so proud of him, so proud of him. And then they see you like, you got another game? Oh my God, I can't believe you got another game. Oh, that is gonna be so hard. That was the relationship that pissed me the fuck off. It's so gaslighting. And it's just like, my nigga, what? And so that's one of the main things of anger that I'm able to like with the
Mhm.
mantle and the hoodoo spiritual and hoodoo religion and just feeling loved and present, and it just makes sense. It just feels sense. It just feels so ancestral, and it
Mhm.
doesn't feel adapted. It doesn't feel like it comes from oppression. It comes from love. It comes from giving love as they were physically and in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I listen, when you told me that and we had that talk, we worked through, I had questions, you had answers. You had questions, I had answers, and we
Mm-hmm.
worked through that whole discussion, and by the end of it, it was no argument, it was no confusion. It was just we both had things to process. And in my
Yes.
moment of processing, I do remember telling your mama like, I'm gonna get you out that goddamn storage. I'm definitely gonna get you
And
out the storage.
she
And
appreciates it. Yep, and you did it.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's not, again, that was my act of veneration, and then also like it's for you. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because you were holding on to it, and it's just, you working through your grief, and it helps with that. Because that's another thing I want to share, that ancestor veneration, honoring ancestors through, saying their name, talking about them, praying for them, thanking them, speaking about them, like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all of it is important, because forgetting is the true death.
Mm.
That's
That's real. Yeah.
a hard belief.
Yeah.
Forgetting is the true death. Like, as a
Yeah.
Black person, like, we cannot forget what we've been
Yeah.
through, what we're going through, our future. our ancestors and their survivors. We would not be here without those people that decided to not give up and to continue to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you
like that
have
movie
to
Coco.
take it up on. You love you some Coco.
I love the Coco. I love it. Remember me.
Okay,
That
so
makes me think of
now,
that when you say that.
yeah, I was gonna say, so like, tell me your favorite parts of Coco without obviously like plugging Disney too goddamn much because they don't pay my bills, but without plugging
Right?
them. So, but tell me like your favorite parts of Coco and just kind of like, I guess now that you understand how how you are now practicing ancestor veneration, like what are your favorite parts about Coco,
I
the
mean, just
film?
like hoodoo religion in which you talk about, it feels that spirituality is actually in the mainstream. Don't won't say the
Mm-hmm.
name, but we already said the movie and all that. But the part of like where one character was fading away because he was being forgotten by the family
Mm-hmm.
members, and it was like, oh wow, I want to remember all the others, even my Uncle Francis and Al Mouncy. I try to remember all the Howard and heirs because I had the type of black family like every 4 years we had a family reunion. We all pulled up and my mom brought me there and we still we continue that now. We're getting ready for the next one. So it's beautiful. When you say that, it was like that just felt so beautiful because you can just see that their spirits in that film, the spirits are like being visited. There's mantles that families built for them, and like there's
Mm-hmm.
food where like in Christianity, it just feels like here's a grave, you're dead, flowers, and then never visited again. And like it's done to where like the
Mm-hmm.
visual of having my own altar and mantle in my house is like feels more comforting, feels more remembrance, feels more honoring instead of
Yeah.
just. I feel like cemetery and those like I know maybe you can help me more of that, but I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
just a place just to put them there and then forget about them and never go back out there. And I think that's from childhood trauma because like yep, my mom's dad and her mom are out there in Long Island, some cemetery because they're army vets, and that was like an hour and a half drive out, and me and my brother hated it, and it's just like it's just a trip. That was 'cause I remember we went to go visit your aunt, and we saw
Mm-hmm.
a woman and her little girl and she brought her little girl to the cemetery and like that's good, she's teaching her to honor the ancestors or to visit Nana or their mom, whoever they're
Yeah.
visiting. I just remember in a more negative way of like, oh, I am not coming all the way out here, gas, no food, no water. And so now it's more of a symbol of like, leave that motherfucker out there. It's like I'm not coming, I'm not going over there, even though I do want to like bury them. So that's the part I'm trying to figure out too. Like I do want to lay the ashes with her mom and her dad out there in Long Island, but also I
Mm.
don't want to go out there because it's so goddamn long and
Mm.
whatever. Again, that's even little Nori talking. That's not even like adult me. That's literally just the inner voice saying that. Like yes, that's inner
Yeah.
child voice. Like, I don't go out there. I don't go. It's just boring. What the fuck? Go
But
out there.
look,
Just nobody cares.
so
It's that.
it's no, I hear you because yeah, you have your own traumas that you're gonna have to work through. But I think just like the wall that you had up with the her urn being in the storage, you may have something similar with going to the cemeteries,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is super common. First of all, too, I want to say like with me being raised Christian Baptist, I just had this different upbringing because I knew, we on my mother's side, we had hoodoo practitioners and folks who did not separate themselves from nature, from God, and believing in spirits and angels and believing in the afterlife, and um and being very strong prayers and practitioners in our word and our actions. I grew up going to funerals, cemeteries. It's like going to the park. It's like going to any other event. But it's just
Wow.
super important because this is the last you'll physically see of this person. This is their final resting place. And just taking that seriously. But also normalizing it. Like, it's just normal. I remember my first relative that I remember who passed, and me being like 4 or 5 years old. I remember seeing them in their casket and touching them in their casket, and going to the cemetery and burying them, and and then going to visit them on their birthday at the cemetery, going to going my aunt to visit her dad
Was
on
it
Father's
far?
Day. And I don't know, because distance is not a factor for me, because it's just cemeteries just have a different vibe and different frequency. I find cemeteries to be quite peaceful. In a sense of like just the energy, and there's no trash. The air feels different.
Ooh,
The
all right, Miss
sounds and
Wednesday.
and nature.
Hoodoo
But listen,
Wednesday.
it's just
I am.
right, okay. But yeah, it's just, like, sure, it's, the shit is far as far as distance, but that's minimal shit to me.
Yeah.
The
Yup.
distance you going,
I think
like,
that's my main trauma.
that's minimal. But again, like, you have to look past that. You have to make your experience work for you. It's your experience. So, like, for example, when I go visit, I mean, you've been with me to visit my aunt out in, what's that, White Plains? One of
Yeah,
my
White
aunties
Plains,
is,
yes.
yeah. So my auntie Mava is buried out in cemetery in White Plains. Really nice cemetery. So yeah, you've seen my
Yep.
ritual where I bring my water.
Yep. That
I
was a
give
maze.
I have flowers. If I remember, because I don't drink, so most of the time I forget. But my auntie Mava, like, she used to love her a nice little old English beer, and or some
Oh.
a nice little some brandy. Okay.
Oh, we should have poured a 40
Um
out for.
so exactly, that's what I'm like. I usually would, if I remember, go to the liquor store, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just bring something that she like, and yeah, and pour it out for her. And I talk, and if I feel like I need to cry, or just holler at her about some stuff, and I take pictures with her. And then I have another aunt that's buried out here a little bit outside of LA. And when I discovered her, because this is one of my dad's aunts who passed away when he was younger, and I just found out, like, this was an aunt that he always talked to me about, because he'd always said I reminded him of her. He was so fascinated when I was a kid how I learned how to draw, and I would always be drawing clothes, and she was a
Yeah.
seamstress, and how I got into fashion. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, it was just crazy how, like, all these things that she did, like, you picked them up when you were a kid. So I always felt like pulled, for this aunt who I never met and passed away before I was born. But when I found out where she was buried, I had someone, I went to visit her first, and then on my second visit, right before my second visit to her, I found this guy on TikTok that actually cleans headstones. And her headstone had not been cleaned, ain't no telling, like, probably
What
30,
was on it? Like
40
just
years.
like fungi and
When
dirt
yeah,
and
like
all
when
that? Like
yeah, when the
just weathered?
when the headstones are flat, and grass can start to grow over it, and it gets a little dusty and kind
Oh,
of
flat.
dainty,
It
and
was a
then
flat one. It wasn't the standing one.
yeah, it was flat. Yeah, yeah.
Got it. It was the flat one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like in the 60s, 70s, that was kind of the norm for everybody's
Yep.
to be flat, the same script and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she passed in the mid 70s. So yeah, like I had hers cleaned off. Found this guy on TikTok, pay him like $200 to clean it off, and he did a great job to where I could see the lettering, like, her full name more clearly, and
Oh.
and he added some pebbles. And so my second visit, when I came, he already cleaned it off, and I had put some flowers down, and and
Shout out to the cemetery
just
cleaner.
had a
Oh
little
shoot.
okay, like,
Right?
yo, it's a great service, like,
A cemetery cleaner is
for
crazy.
sure.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's right. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
Oh,
man,
and he put
super dope.
decoration, and he did decorations and everything.
If you want him to add like pebble stones or like to add anything, he'll do it. But yeah, I just told him to make her look real cute and nice, and just to
Oh,
clean
I
her
love
off.
that.
And he got, he just brushed it so there, there's no nothing covering her. And yeah, it looked brand new.
Nice.
Brand new. So
See, I
yeah, it's like
love.
things like that are super important because it's still another, service, or it's
Mm-hmm.
another act of veneration. It's to do something nice for them, because they would do plenty of nice shit for you to take care of you. So it's like, that's super important for me. That's what I believe. Like, I take care of
Yeah.
them, they take care of me.
So wait, is it because you believe it, or that's part of the Hoodoo religion? Cause my
Oh, I mean, it's both. It's like we believe that, we have protectors, we have angels. God has assistants. God is almighty,
mm-hmm.
yes. But yet when we pass over, like, those who pass over and elevate and become ancestors, they have spiritual powers now, and able to do certain things, and to assist us, to help us when we need them, passing gifts on to us, like how my dad believed that she passed her gift on to me, which is why I was always so naturally like drawn to fashion and style, and just liking certain shit and not having an explanation of why I like it or why I'm so good
Yeah.
at it. So just those are the beliefs that we have about our loved ones and those who have passed on. And so it's a hoodoo practice, and also majority of African traditional religions and derived religions have practices that are centered on honoring the dead, not fearing the dead, not demonizing the dead. Like, you don't just
Mm.
automatically go to hell. I don't believe in hell.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Most African traditional religions and derived religions do not believe in a hell. If anything, like,
Okay. Good.
America is
Yeah, I grew
hell,
up
but
on
that's a
that.
whole nother conversation. Um,
Yeah,
but
I grew
yeah,
up on
so
that.
it's like there's nothing. We also don't believe like in fearing the dead either, especially
Mm.
when there's someone that's related to us. We also believe that our loved ones, ancestors have passed on. They know us very well. They know us
Mm.
more than we know ourselves. They have a whole nother level of information now that
Ancestors in
they're in
general, or
that.
the ones that passed, the ones that our
I think
ancestors
I
that
think those
passed.
I think those that have passed, they just have access to information that's
Mm.
beyond like what we can even measure consciously. And then of course we do believe like we have those that are elevated, to a different position, a certain position, because of how they lived their lives, how they treated people, loved on people, and their, elevation of consciousness while on earth, because they had reached that point by the time they died. So when they
Mm.
pass on, they are given, it's like another elevation or a different position of not necessarily power, but of capabilities.
Wow. See,
Makes
and that's the
sense?
thing. It all makes so much sense. And it's gonna really for me to come to gripe with my experience of how I saw death, and how
Mm-hmm.
little communication, little education, very heaven and hell, very black and white, very gotta pray, and everything outward, nothing inward and spiritual. A little bit with my aunt, more about a little spirituality and also horoscopes and that realm. But I think what I can honestly say with you, I'm not comfortable with, is that I visualize like me having this mantle feels so good, because even if I put her at a resting spot in Long Island, that I obviously have the trauma that I feel so long, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm just abandoning her, or
Mm.
just putting her out there. Like, I don't see it as you saw with your aunt, like, all right, I visit you, see you later. It's like, no,
Mm.
there's a more dread of gas and tolls and
Mm.
fucking driving in the car to Long Island, that's a little bit more heavier than laying my mama ashes to rest in the cemetery, where it's like, nigga, she right here. I got her out the storage unit. That's the best I could
Okay.
do. And so now going to a cemetery and doing all that shit, it's like, oh, hell no. If I can find a cemetery, I ain't got no tolls. I ain't got to worry about no gas. I ain't got to worry about no long trips. I ain't got to get a deli sandwich before I go. Ain't no bathroom. Look at it. This is all little Nori talking. This is not even me anymore. Like, this stuff is just, these are downloads that are coming to me on this podcast to you right now of like the frustration of going to a fucking cemetery. But going with you was so dope because it was right there in White Plains. Ain't no tolls. It was easy. And I got to experience how easy and breathe. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I don't know. And then and I don't feel comfortable just leaving my mama out there. And like, I feel like that's a sign of bye. I ain't never gonna see you again. I mean, you already know the incident, what happened with her car, and how I had to like you help me with that. I mean, we don't have to get into that. We don't have to, but
Well,
I.
okay, so
But
because
so it's like a
you,
symbolism,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Well, you said a couple of things. Okay, so for one, no, I get it because yeah, this is childhood Nori that may be a little triggered by the memories of like, going through, because it sounds like it's like, yo, there's all these steps to get to go visit
Oh
some
man,
person, someone
that thick ass
at the
Buick, no food, no AC, and it
look,
just felt so fucking long. Anyway, sorry.
but look,
Mm-hmm.
maybe when you get to this point of actually doing it, because who is buried there? Your mother's father?
Olivia, my grandmother, and Norvell,
Okay.
who I'm named
Okay, so your
after. Yep.
grandparents. So your
Grandparents, yep.
grandparents are buried
Both of their
in
mommy
the
and daddy.
cemetery. Yeah.
Yep. And their
So
uncles and their aunts, yep.
my advice would be, I would say this. I think what would be extremely healing for you would be to go to the cemetery. But hear me out. Take both of them. So take your auntie, take your mama. You don't have to spread their ashes in the cemetery. I get like you're like, yeah, maybe later on, but you may need to take a step towards getting to that final decision of what you want to, because you don't necessarily have to. Some people, will spread ashes once they figure it out, and some people never spread their ashes. Some people are buried with ashes of a loved one, like my auntie Mava. They put my cousin Sharif, his urn in there with Mava. So, at her casket, she's holding her son's urn, because he
Yeah.
passed a couple months before she did. So they're both buried together, essentially.
That's amazing. Yeah, you
And
might have to bring me out there.
so that is,
I can see it.
an
I
idea,
don't want to do
and
it.
very, very common. But no, I'm just saying, like, just take the urns up there so you can visit your grandparents as well. But again, you to help heal through these bad memories, or just, not so pleasant memories that you have to create new memories. You have to do this your way, because you are here. You are here physically in this physical realm. You still might have those limitations, but the limitations are for real only residing in your head.
To
And
me,
even the
yeah.
limitations that you do have, babe, like low key, like those aren't even real. Like all that shit, it really is just an illusion.
What do you mean?
You gotta use your imagination. You know what I'm saying? Like you're dreading to do this because of the drive and the toll and the gas and his lunch and his but it's like, really, is it that bad of what
It's
you are
not.
making it to be?
All right, here we go. It's a defense mechanism, because below that, I am attached to her ashes, and if I leave her out there, going out there, I'll be leaving her out there. So I'm attached to it,
but
and I'm not ready for
again,
that. It's like that.
but again, you keep saying about leaving her, but it's not. But it's like you don't have to. You don't have to take her and leave her there. You can just take her as a vision, as as an act, as a ceremonial thing. just like creating your own sacred way in how you venerate if you go to the cemetery to visit. You know what I'm saying? Like how,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
made sure I have my things for my aunt when I go visit. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. That
even for
makes
me,
sense.
like when I walk in cemeteries, maybe, and I didn't do this with, that's the only thing I didn't do with Mava, and also Mava's mother who passed away not too long ago when I went to visit her as well, because they're buried in the same cemetery. But even when I go to visit my other auntie that's buried outside of LA, because of where she is and how leveled it is in the grass, and it is nice. I also do a lot of grounding in the cemetery, meaning like I take my shoes off and I just sit like I'm outside at a park.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
normal.
I remember
Or,
that.
if
Yeah.
some people take the lawn chairs out, like you just have to make it. It doesn't have to be this thing. You don't have to make it about this thing that you have to do. You don't have to leave. You don't have to spread her ashes. You don't have to leave her. You could just take her with you and just place her there by her parents and just sit for a while and talk. You could pour out a little liquor. You can pour out some
Mm.
water. You can even
Also,
play some music.
I bring the urn with me like the pallbearer from Undertaker. Remember WWE wrestling? I got the urn like the pallbearer. Oh, Undertaker. Mother, I brought you to the cemetery. Undertaker's gonna get you. That was WWE. Remember?
Listen, whatever works for you. But my point is just try it. Like just do
Yeah.
that.
No, I
It doesn't
got
have
you.
to be, you keep bringing it about separating. It's like, no, we just got her out the goddamn storage. No, I'm not telling you to separate from her yet. I'm
And
just
now you want
saying,
me to take the urn with me to the cemetery, sit down.
yeah,
And sit down.
and just chill, and then y'all gonna leave together. Yeah.
That's another joke I talk about because there's no urn etiquette. Like, do I put her on the floor of the car like Chinese food? Do I put her in the passenger seat and put a seatbelt around her? Do I put her on top of the roof like some old skis? How the fuck do you drive around with an urn that's respectable? There's no. That's what I never like about the afterlife, and not afterlife, like the process of death, and it's like, what is? Any move I make, I feel like I'm disrespecting this lady, even though she came from a source. I think that was one of the main issues. Like, what do I do? How do I do with this urn? It's like, where do I place it in the car? I can't just have it rolling around like groceries, like loose milk. Like, oh my god, it's just so scary. That's my mama. But no, babe. Thank you. No, I get it. I get it. That's great advice, and I hope you can come with me one day out to the Long Island so I can heal that and just bring both of them with me. And I think that's great advice because I can visually see that. I can see that, and I can do that. I can get there. Fuck a toll. Fuck a gas. It's now this is adult Nori talking, the little Nori. Yes. So now it's like I can see that and I can do that, and I'll strive to do that, this year. But you got to come to New York and visit me and do it. So, yep. I got to earn and some empanada mamas for you. She only comes to New York to visit me, y'all, because of empanada mama, not because she loved me. So,
not
I just
even
want that.
that. Ooh, not you telling this lie. Anyway, let's wrap this up because now you bringing up some other shit that is not true. I do love empanada mamas, but I love you
See,
too.
I'm a right on. We're a toxic relationship, only loving each other for conditional love. Conditional love. All right, I'm done. That's all a joke. She's laughing. As you can see, but you can't hear her. She's laughing. I love making her smile. She has such a great smile, and she ain't got her glasses on, so she can't really see me. So it's so cute.
You finna get cussed out.
Oh no,
This
I
was
can't
great. Do
wait.
you feel better? Thank you for
I feel
sharing.
very good. Yes. No, this was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. Always got the love for you. Um, respect you as a person, as a spouse, and as a friend, and as a person deep diving and a professional of the Hoodoo religion. Thank you for your education and your knowledge. Yes, yes, yes. And your giggles. Yes.
You're welcome. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, we've been chatting for a while, but I was gonna do like a I mean, this is a great in closing, so it's
No, you got it.
nothing
I just did
more.
mine closing. You got it. It's all you, baby.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I appreciate that because this is
Mm-hmm.
a great discussion about ancestor veneration, and I've learned more about you, and I'm
Mm.
sure you've learned more about me,
Yes.
and have a better understanding of ancestor veneration and how you can essentially do things your way because it's about your healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to look like a certain way, y'all. Um,
Yup. You
take
know, it'd be
take the
funny.
oh God,
You know,
what?
it'd be funny if I'd be like, you know what, babe? And that's why I think Satan has a real good point that, evil is just so much easier. Right, babe? Like, because I just want to let you know that my Lord and Savior, Satan, ooh, let me tell you, the horns are sharp. But they nah, and that's a joke. That's a joke. I don't want to scare you who listeners like, oh my God, that boy he needs something. All right, yeah, no, but in closing, go ahead. You got it, my bad.
No, that was funny. Did not expect that. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say again. It sure there's different ways and elements and styles that you can take from if you're inspired by whether it's elements of Christianity,
Mm,
elements of indigenous spirituality, African spirituality, um what speaks to you from an ancestral standpoint, what your people like to do, um how your people were, what they were into, like how I talked about how my auntie, the type of liquor she liked to drink when she was still here, physically, and so anybody out there listening who is wants a better understanding of ancestor veneration, what to do, like if we're talking about altar, if you want to do an altar, um for your people, all you need is, whether you have their ashes, just
mm-hmm.
have them placed somewhere and put some water in a glass, um
Yep.
and light a candle and just sit there with them,
A picture of them.
and yeah, and have a picture of them and just talk to them and just
Yep.
say a prayer,
Mm-hmm.
have a good old, ugly cry if you need to,
Mm. Yep.
even listen to some of their favorite music, if there's a
Mm-hmm.
song that reminds you of them, hit play. And yeah, you can just take as much time as you need. If you just want to sit there for 5-10 minutes, if you need a cute little 20-30, like, it's no wrong way of doing that. If you are
Ashe.
into Yeah, if you are into going to the cemetery, like myself, yeah, like go out there. You're thinking of the person and you drive, if you live close by, even if you're not close by, you just set a date, make a plan to take some time out of your life that you are still living to go out there and visit them and check on their headstone, see if it needs some type of cleaning or brushing, um clean it if that makes you feel better. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you want to clean the person's headstone yourself, go out there and do that. Like, that's an act of service. Our folks, they still appreciate love languages,
Yes.
so
Oh, they do.
that's
I'm gonna go out
yeah.
there. I'm gonna buy a big ass JBL speaker and play my mama favorite song, Anita Baker, "Sweet Love." We love it will come and by the day. It's our
Yeah.
birthday. But
Okay.
love.
Hey,
Yep.
I'm not about to pay Anita Baker no money to be having her goddamn songs.
I only
Like,
did. I only did 2 seconds, so
okay.
that's fine. And it was an impression of it. My friend is an
Yes.
entertainment lawyer. Ha ha ha. It's an impression. So you are
Yeah, like
covered.
impression.
You're covered. Keith Hamilton told me that joke. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my goodness, honey. Thank you for coming on to talk to
Yes.
me. Again, thanks for sharing. That was very vulnerable of you.
Anything for
Yeah,
you. And that's just my vibe. I just want to make sure people get to know who I am and anybody out there that can relate that like, we can just share together and build community and also give a nice little laugh and chuckle. So thank you for
absolutely.
getting me to those places and that was amazing. And yeah, once we talk the trauma out, then it's so much easier to tackle it and walk on through it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Ashe. You're welcome. Tell people where they can find you, how to connect with you, and yeah, tell them how to
Yes.
tap in.
Yes, tap in on my social medias, Instagram, Threads, Nore Davis, NoreDavis, NoreDavis.com. Let me get your email so I can be up in that inbox so you can see dates when I'm performing. Come see me live. And you can see Chelsea in the front laughing and giggling because she's my number one fan and I always hear her smiling. But yeah, NoreDavis.com. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Got some content coming out so you can enjoy. That's it. Giggling. Any man listen out there, get you some jokes. You can laugh them out your drawers, baby. That's
Ooh,
it. That's what it is.
okay. Okay.
Oh,
You
oh,
have been listening to the practice of Hoodoo Baptist. Let me wrap this up before I pop you. Thank you, honey. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
you're welcome.
You have been listening to the practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, covered by spirit, guided by blood. Until next time, peace.